Hey guys, it's Dan from Soileater and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today on One Take Wednesday, episode 5, we're going to be going over the uniform I wear, as well as boots, jackets, raincoats, and some little extra items here, just so you guys are aware of kind of what is out there and kind of what I use, what I've tested over the last, 10 years, 9 years of being on SWAT, and what works for me. So first off, just so I can get these out of the way, I'm going to be going over the footwear. So these are what were issued right here, are Salomon boots. They work pretty well. Don't have a ton of complaints for them. They're kind of a mid-weather boot, so they're decent in the summertime, decent in the winter. But again, there's obviously better options for both summertime as well as winter. Not a huge fan of them, but they work, and that's what we're issued, so I'm not going to complain. My daily wear boot are Salomons as well. These are the US Elite Gear Suntos, or I forget exactly what they were called, but they had like a leather bottom to them. They're similar to the GTX, but it was in this gray colorway. I really enjoyed these. They're kind of on their last leg. As you can see here, the tread on them is starting to wear pretty soon here, but that's what I'm currently running. They're like wearing sneakers. I do like them. They do provide a little bit of ankle support, but not a lot. The only complaints I have with them is sometimes that drawstring that tucks under the tongue can come out. So what I used to do for ops is actually take some Gorilla duct tape and throw it right on there and taped it on. Another big thing is wool socks, right? You know, change your socks, take a knee. You know, your medic will typically yell at you for not changing your socks, right? That's kind of the running joke, but there's some truth to it. Make sure you have good pairs of wool socks. Whenever I'm on an op, whenever I'm going to work, most of the time, unless it's summertime, I am wearing a wool sock. If I'm going in hikes, it's a wool sock. They make different thicknesses, but I highly recommend keeping these on your feet as well as extra 1 or 2 pairs in your bag. So getting rid of that. Basically right now what I'm going to do is go over the top of the uniform that I wear as well as the bottom, what I keep in the pockets, and then after that I'm going to be going over some support gear and some insulation layers that I wear depending on the temperatures. So firstly, I've worn a bunch of different uniforms. I'm 6'3", I weigh about 200 pounds normally, and I can never find a uniform that fits me in both the length of my arms as well as my inseam. I'm awkwardly tall, I guess you could say. So I wear a 38 inseam with a 34 waist. So it's very difficult to find those sizes. Luckily for me, Cry Precision seems to be the best one out there, best option I've found. If you know anyone else that is in my situation, let me know if there's other brands out there, but we're running Cry Precision. So here I have their G3 combat top. Again, not the warmest thing, but I do have a field shirt also that I will wear sometimes depending on the weather, but most of the time this is it right here. So I've got the combat shirt. I have my team identifier, like we mentioned before, is white 1. Right here where there's Velcro is normally where I'd have my department specific patch. Inside here, you're just gonna find a Rite in the Rain notepad, right? Because Grand Thumb would be mad at me if I didn't have this on me. So Rite in the Rain notepad, the pens I keep in my plate carrier. I keep a Rite in the Rain pen in there as well. A lot of guys are not running the elbow pads, but if you talk to Jared from Orion Concepts, you've probably heard him make fun of my elbows. I had tricep surgery on both my elbows. They're working fine now, thanks for asking. But I keep the elbow pads in there, right? I don't know how many times I've been on a perimeter or been on a call where I'm sitting there on my elbows for hours on end. So it's definitely nice to have that little bit of padding in there, as well as just bumps and bangs while going through a house, jumping off the truck, jumping off the APC. It just prevents injury, so I keep them. I'm probably one of the only guys on the team that, unless it's like over 100 degrees out, that I keep my sleeves rolled all the way down, right? I don't have the cool factor of having them up. The reason for that is obviously just being a breacher, right? So again, like we talked about in some of the other videos, the balaclava to protect your face from sparks, cuts. It's the same thing goes for this, right? Obviously this doesn't provide a huge protection, but it does provide protection, especially when you're breaching doors with glass in them and stuff like that. I keep the sleeves all the way down, right? So I lose some cool factors, but gain some protection there. Going to the other sleeve, again, same thing. White 1, team identifier would normally be over here. I just took those off for the video. Inside my left shoulder pocket, I keep 4 chem lights. So in here, I've got 2 IRs. Right, they look blue, but they are IR. 2 IR chems and then 2 red chems in the pocket behind it. and I know what pocket these are in. Another way of identifying them at night, if you can't see or low light, is again that hot glue. You can put nubs on them. The original IRs that we used to have, our older ones, had nubs on the outside, so you knew that was the IR. This one, for whatever reason, didn't, but hey, it's just whatever you can get, whatever's issued to you. So that's really it for the combat top. Not a lot to it. Cry is nice where they have different sizes. So this is a medium, extra long. So again, you can get those different sizes depending on what your size is. Just gonna throw that on the ground there. Next is the pants. So again, these are Cry Precision pants. These are 34 extra long, or extra long, I believe, just because I need that length, right? So on here, you'll notice I keep this stuff stored exactly how it is. I'll keep it all nice and folded. But you'll notice here, I keep this in the bag, in my my call-out bag, whatever you want to call it, right, with the belt on it, right? And usually the belt I'll keep open like this so I can just open it up. Same with the fly. I close those just for the video. But normally this is open, so it's one less step. I can just throw it on real quick if I need to. Basically, I'm going to be going down these. Again, these are the G3s with the upgraded knee pads. I'll go over that briefly here in a minute. But I'm going to start on the right side. So if you're wearing the pants, it's going to be on the right side, and kind of what I keep in the pockets. So up in the top pockets, I don't keep anything. That's usually where I'll throw my keys, cell phone, or not, I'm sorry, not cell phone, but keys and anything else in my pockets of my current pants, I'll just throw in there. So nothing like mission essential, anything like that. In the top right pocket, probably the same pocket a lot of you guys keep your chew in. I don't do any of that stuff, but in here I keep 6 2570 CTS breaching shotgun rounds, right? So the 2570s are going to be your standard residential doors. They are not your commercial doors. So I keep these in my pocket, staged, ready to go. Again, there's better solutions for a lot of this stuff, which I'm working on eventually switching over. But these are kind of how I've ran them for years. So again, it's hard to kind of switch over and take the time and actually do it with how busy I am. But I keep 6 CTS breaching rounds here. One of the SOPs on our team is that the guys who are shotgun breachers are not less lethal. They will never handle a less lethal shotgun. The reason being here is the CTS rounds are marked on the outside with paint, but that paint after a while, when these get, let me see if you can see that. The paint after a while, there you go, when these get banged around inside your pocket, actually comes off. So without actually taking a look and being like, hey, that's a super sock beanbag round, or that's a breaching round, we just make sure that, hey, you're not touching the shotgun, the less lethal shotgun, if you're a shotgun breacher. We also have other fail safes, like 2 people load the less lethal shotgun so that we know that the right round's in there. But again, that's what I keep in that top thigh pocket. Moving around to the big cargo pocket here. I do keep an evidence bag. There's a larger evidence bag. The reason being is when you take someone into custody, you got to throw their belongings in a bag. It's just nice to have one on you. That's really it. So it's kind of a post-op thing, not super important, but plastic bags also nice to have if ever you need to keep documents out of the rain. So I keep one of those in my pocket. That's kind of I won't say it's an SOP, but it's basically it's frowned upon if you don't have an evidence bag on you when you need one. In here, I also keep a bunch of loose medical gloves. Again, if I need to work on someone quickly, whether not so much my teammates, because again, I'm probably just gonna go hands-on with them, but if it's a suspect or innocent inside the home, I'll most likely take the extra second here to throw on medical gloves, just to keep their fluids off of me. Lastly in here, I've got a bag similar to the ones that the tourniquet holders come to you in, just a U-line bag that we have, 4 mil. Inside here, you'll notice there's painter's tape. So what I have here is 2 CR123s, 2 AAAs, and 4 lithium AAs. And they're rubber banded together, but they're also taped. The tape on them just helps them not wiggle around in your pocket, as well as protect some of the ends from having the positive and negative touch each other when they're in your pocket and potentially heating up. And I mean, it probably could cause a fire, but if anything, it just heats up and starts burning your person. So painter's tape, because it's quick and easy to pull those off and deploy them to whoever needs them, or if I need them in the field, I can just peel them off. They make plastic holders and stuff for these, but again, this allows me to customize exactly how many of them I need versus having to take a Dremel and cutting some of those battery storage options. So that's just what I've been running. I've run it for a while. It works great. You'll notice I don't have a aim point optic battery. in here, and that's because that sits in the BCM grip of my actual rifle. So I have enough batteries on me that I can change out basically like at least 80% of the gear I have on. I can swap out batteries where I need it. But again, I'm always doing a post-op inspection of the gear anyway. So that's it from the right side. I believe. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I'm sorry. Last but not least, Blistex medicated lip ointment, right? It seems stupid, but this is super important when you're in the field. I'm in upstate New York. It can get, I don't know, probably below 20 degrees sometimes with wind chill and whatnot. So if you're out in the field with that and your lips are all cracked open or bleeding and stuff like that, you're gonna lose focus on what you're actually supposed to be doing, and you're going to be focusing on your lips. So having this medicated lip ointment is kind of a morale booster when you're in the field. And you coat your lips up really good with that. You don't have to worry about sitting in the freezing air for that long. So that's the right side of the pants. The one thing I'll go over real quick, if you haven't upgraded to the knee pads, the newer knee pads, I would highly recommend it. Crye finally added more Velcro around the outside of it, so your knee pads aren't always popping out of the knee, especially if you're doing like a land ruck and you're going through trees and tree branches and brush and vines. Get caught on these. A lot of the times it can rip out your knee pad, and that's the last thing you want to have to deal with in there. Having a sewing machine, I used to sew my own Velcro in there and added more Velcro on there. But if you don't have a sewing machine or you don't want to bring your knee pads to a tailor, I just recommend getting the newer ones. They do work pretty good. Guys on the team also make fun of me because when I kneel down in the snow, I make cool little hexagon knee prints. So guys think that's cool. So I gained back some of my cool factor. Moving to the left side of the pants, I'll keep this thigh pocket open. The reason for that is now that I'm running two phones, I keep the one in my chest, in my Juggernaut phone holder, and then the other one inside my thigh pocket right here. So it's just quick and easy to get to. I don't really keep anything that I want to get to quickly in the top normal hand pockets. Most of the time, because of the holsters and whatnot, you've got drop legs, whatever it is, will interfere with that and make it so you can't get anything in there. So usually the only thing I'll keep on that side is a pocket knife. Moving around to the left cargo pocket, depending on the season, I'll always have an extra pair of gloves in this pocket. So it's wintertime, I just bought these. These are the new, I believe they're new. They're new to me. I didn't know they were around. SKD has their new pig winter weight gloves. They're like fleece lined inside. They're a little more insulated. They're not a little more. They're a lot more insulated than their standard alphas or whatever I used to run. I like these. Before these, I used to run mechanics. Mechanics gloves used to have a winter weight that I used to run. So these are still good. Again, test your gear, making sure that that you can shoot them and you can handle your firearm, rifle, pistol, so on and so forth. Make sure you know how to use them with the gloves on. You should train in it. And then I do keep an extra balaclava in this pocket, again, for a hat, if I need to wear a hat, or again to cover my face, especially if it's really cold out. So I keep an extra one of those. You'll know when you're wearing a balaclava for a long time, you've got a big nose like me, right? It starts getting all wet, and then that moisture from your nose and mouth and whatever will start freezing and making you have a bad day. So I swap those out in the field if I need to, just to kind of, again, keep me fresh and keep me mentally in the game. You'd be surprised when you're sitting on a side of a house and it's 10 degrees out with wind chill, how little things like that will just make your quality of life a little better. So don't discredit those. I think they're not a big deal. They end up being a big deal after a while. And then this is an SOP. On our left ankle pocket on these Cryes, we do carry a thing of Narcan. So each one of my teammates I know will have this in their pocket. The other things that I keep in here that are not mandated to me is a sun towel. So this is Sun X utility towelette. Essentially, it's just sunscreen, right? So again, keeping that longevity while you're in the field, right? Having to worry about your whole face getting all sunburned. This will prevent that and keep you operational longer, as well as Bug X. These are 30 DEET, it says. Couple things with these. Same thing when you're in the field. Getting eaten up by mosquitoes is going to make you have a bad time. So don't do that, right? So put bug spray on. Couple things with these. Keep these away from your safety glasses. Keep any of the bug repellent away from your safety glasses. It will peel the layer right off your safety glasses. And same goes for any IR patches. So like my team identifiers, I have some on my helmet and whatnot. keep these away from them, it will wipe that coating off the reflective completely off instantly. So usually what I'll do here is I'll wipe these on any of the areas where the plate carrier doesn't cover, right? So you've got this area under your arm, that's where mosquitoes love. Here, back of the arm, back of the neck, I wipe that on everything. And then you can even take these, wipe them on your helmet, wipe them on your ear pro, anything like that, just to keep the bugs off you. But again, little things like that is gonna make your time on the side of a house or your time in the woods much better time. So that's it for the pants themselves. I do still like the G3s over the G4s. I do have one pair of the G4s. I tend to wear those in the summertime. That ripstop material is a little less, it's a little like less weight, and it just seems to pass through some of the temperatures a little better. The pockets have like breathing spots, and there's little zippers on the thing. So I kind of wear those in the summertime. These are usually my like mid-season and or winter ones, but I'll go over another set that I have here in a second. Some other things that will keep you in the game here. You unfortunately can't buy these anymore. These were the Arc'teryx gaiters. So these were suggested to me a long time ago, and I picked up a pair. They were stupid expensive, like all Arc'teryx gear. But essentially what they are is they are Gore-Tex gaiters that you would actually slide your foot in. So you take your foot that's in your sock, you'd slide your foot and knees, tighten them up. They go right above almost right to your knee. And then your feet sit in these and you put your boots on over them. And these things are the best things I've ever had. You can walk in the water up to here. Your shoe and boot will get soaked, but your feet will be completely dry. So if you can find these on eBay or anything, pick them up because they are amazing and they're well worth the money. If you know any other brands that replace these with the in the boot gaiter, let me know because I'd definitely be interested in picking up another pair because they are excellent. Some other things depending on the temperature. Obviously, I keep my other hat in my helmet. You can go to the helmet video if you want to go over that. But I have just another fleece Arc'teryx beanie that I can wear. I have a tan one as well that I can wear under my helmet if it's extremely cold out. Over here, this is just a piece of net. I can put a link in the description. But this is good for sometimes, depending on what the call is, right? It's just having camouflage net that you can either drape over yourself to break up your helmet, right? Something like that. Or in your position, again, I'm not gonna give away all the sniper craft, but something like this could definitely help conceal your position depending on what you're doing. There's other options as well, but it's just, you can use it and wrap it around to kind of keep yourself warm if you want. Has a lot of uses. They're pretty cheap. This one I obviously got to match multicam. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this, but you guys know what these are, right? Again, these work for protecting yourself from bugs, protecting yourself from the weather. If you need to make a position a little warmer or whatever. Another item that's good to have, I keep these in my bag as well. Some other things that will make your experience in the cold weather better is the foot warmers. Put those on before the call. They do take a little while to heat up. This one says about 20 minutes, but you can tape these on the bottom of your boots. These work well. I would say probably don't use these though if you're gonna be doing a lot of hiking. If you kind of know what you're getting into ahead of time and it's like a surround and call out barricaded, I'd recommend these. If it's like rucking in the woods, it depends, right? They can make your feet too hot and you'll start sweating. And then after a while, just stepping on these because they don't lay perfectly flat, can mess with your feet. These right here, these hand warmers, keep a bunch of these in your bag, right? So a couple things, and I'll go over this real quick. So a couple things with these hand warmers, right, is you can actually put these, and if you don't already, you should. So you can actually put these in the thigh pockets of your cry, right? And it keeps it right next to your arteries on your leg, which will help warm up your body. Something I've been doing for years now, but you can put them both in there. Same goes in your pockets and in your jackets, and then put your plate carrier on them. It will keep them tight to your body and you will be nice and warm. Pro tip there. Lastly for this, let me just grab my gloves real quick. So, where did I put those? So with the gloves, another thing you can do too is you can open up one of these. Now these are the bigger ones. They make the smaller ones that are like half the size. You can put these on top of your wrist right here and then put your glove over it so they sit right here. That way you still have full function of your gun, your weapon manipulation, but now you've got the hand warmer on the back side of your hand. Just another tip for those. So wintertime, I highly recommend keeping a bunch of these. They're super cheap, and put them everywhere, right? They last for over 8 hours, and they get pretty warm. So that's for that. These pants right here, I've never been a fan of Gore-Tex outer pants. They've always been real bulky to me. They never kind of, with a gun belt on, they never really go up high enough to be effective. They're always kind of just a pain in the ass, and they make the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh noise when you're walking. And also, I'll be honest, I've never found a pair that are long enough so that I don't look like an Oompa Loompa out there on a call out. Because again, looking cool is important, and my teammates are ruthless. So make sure you look cool. But that being said, the Cry all-weather pants are amazing, and I highly recommend these. They are not cheap, just like anything Cry, but the Cry all-weather pants have a different material that I don't even know what you would call it. It has a little bit of stretch to it, but it does have some water repellent properties, and you can also spray these and coat them. And this is what I would wear if it's like really shitty out. So if you're going outside and it's like a blizzard out, or it's sleet and rain and whatever, these are the pants that I'll wear. Currently, usually I have these all set up. So I'll have all the things I have in the other pair of pants in these as well. I have an extra set of them, and I keep this all loaded up as well. Right now, I just got these out of the wash because I wore them the other day. So after this video, these will be all loaded out just like the other pair, and these will be staged in my gear as well. So these are the Cry Precision all-weather pants. The only thing I'll say for these is I believe they made them slightly bigger because of wearing additional layers underneath them. I would probably go a size down if I was to buy these again, because these are kind of a little big. I'm not saying they're parachute pants, but they're definitely a little big, and I would probably go down. So if I normally wear a 34, I'd probably drop down to a 33 or a 32 just to kind of get that a little slimmer. But they are sized a little differently, but excellent pants. If you don't want, I mean, they do kind of make that wishy-wishy noise. I don't know if you can hear it. Not as bad as actual true Gore-Tex pants. Again, they don't provide as much protection, but it's kind of that in the middle ground, which for me, you know, if I'm not out there for days on end, these are my go-to. Next, I'm probably gonna get flamed for these because they're not Gucci, Arc'teryx, or anything like that. But again, none of that stuff fits me. So for a Gore-Tex, what I have here is just a military, I believe this is an older military standard issue before they went to Scorpion. It's just a shell jacket, guys. So this I bought at actually Fort Drum, which is local in New York to me. This is, the size is a large, I believe a large long or extra large long, and it's been the best rain jacket I've ever found. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. So again, it fits me in the arms. It's a nice lightweight shell. My methodology for layering and stuff like that is I don't want one giant coat. I want to be able to layer up depending on what I'm doing. And depending on the temperature, I'll always check the temperature on a call out if I can before deploying to it, if I have time to know what to wear, because you don't want to be the guy that's not wearing enough clothes, so you're not combat effective because you're frozen out there, or you're wearing too many layers where now people have to wait for you to try to take your carrier off, shed some layers, and then come back into it. So this isn't a video on like what to wear, just kind of what I wear. But that being said, like it's been tested because I've been doing it for a while now, where this light shell jacket I can wear in the summertime when it's pouring rain, or I can wear in the wintertime when it's sleet, snow, and whatever as that outer layer. So again, it doesn't have to be super expensive. Will this leak after a while? Yep, absolutely. Like standard raincoats, it'll start leaking on the seams, right? This isn't a super high quality jacket by any means, but I unfortunately can't run Arc'teryx or Outdoor Research, any of that stuff, because it just doesn't fit me. So I'd rather go with something that fits me, that works pretty well, than something that doesn't. So moving on. Another accessory, this one I made. I would not recommend this one, but there's better companies like this. This is when I was learning how to sew. What this is a hand warmer that hooks to the bottom of your plate carrier. Again, you put those hand warmers in it. It's fleece lined, and I had some insulation material on there, so it is super warm, and I made it, so I'm like, whatever, I'll just run it. That being said, there's better options out there. So check those out. I highly recommend these, especially for when you're on the range all day too. It doesn't even have to be on a call out, because most of the time I'm not standing there like this at a call out. That being said, the after action for a call out, I most certainly am, because people like to talk. Obviously, we're probably at like 10 minutes on this video. So highly recommend some sort of hand warmer. It doesn't even have to be like a tactical one. You can get one of the fanny pack ones that go around your waist that have the hand warmers. They're in like the hunting section of Dick's and your sporting goods stores. The only thing with those is it has to go around your waist. So it's up to you on what you want to do. And also usually you can't find those in like your standard multicam and whatever camouflage colors. So moving on, my favorite piece of gear besides the gaiters are the Crye Precision Loft Jacket. So this thing is amazing. Again, I don't have any promo codes. I'm not selling Crye to you guys. I think really the reason I have a draw to Crye is they have sizes that fit me. I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to. There's probably a bunch of other great companies, but they just never fit me. So this is a Crye Loft Jacket. These are expensive. They're probably about $400 shipped. Again, normally I keep identifiers on the outer patch there, so when I'm putting these layers on, all my layers try to have identification on them. Being law enforcement for military guys, I don't know how that works for you. No advice there, unfortunately. But for this Crye jacket, it's a loft jacket. It's a perfect like mid layer, and most of the time what ends up happening is I wear several layers under this, and then this will be my outer layer. I wouldn't say it's waterproof by any means, but it is water repellent or water resistant. I probably need to spray this again. It's been a while. But essentially, if it's raining out just lightly, this will kind of keep you dry for the most part. If it's snowing out, the snow will brush off of it. You won't get soaked there. And it's just a good middle layer between the next coat I'm going to show you and not having a coat at all and having like a fleece. So I do like this one. I believe it's very similar to the the Atom 2 Arc'teryx one. I believe it's very similar to that. The sizing's different, but for me, it fits well, and I definitely enjoy that jacket. If I'm going to be on the range or in the field for like incredible amount of time, or it's extremely cold out, I do have I believe it's Beyond Clothing. Yep, Beyond Clothing. This is a medium tall or medium long. This jacket, I don't know if it's actual down or synthetic down, but just to hold this up, you can see this jacket is huge, right? It is super puffy, and this thing is super warm, right? So again, the more layers you have on, the less agile, the more puffy you're gonna be, the more noise you're gonna make, right? So you have to kind of weigh that between, hey, how puffy and big I am, but I also need to be combat effective, right? So if I'm sitting there and I'm frozen and all I'm thinking about is how cold I am, or I'm just sitting there, shivering, beyond control, like you're not going to be effective. So you need to either let your command know, hey, I'm going to be ineffective here, right? Make sure as command that you're keeping an eye on your guys, right? That's another side note here is that our medic and our docs assigned to the team will keep a tab on the weather, and we'll keep tabs on how long we're out in the field. So that's something nice that we get to have on the law enforcement side in the States that allow us not to go beyond that point or whatever he thinks is that point. Because you know how we all are, right? We're all going to be, no, we're super tough and we don't want to come in. And then next thing you know, you've got permanent injuries, frostbite and whatnot from being out there in those conditions. And you're just not as sharp as you were. You're not making those split second critical decisions as sharply as you normally would. So luckily, if we need relief, we can call on our city team, which we work very closely with, or call on our state team, which we work closely with. So we've got good relationship with all of them, so we have relief if we need, if we're there for extended periods of time. I think we've had call-outs now for over 24 hours, so you can just imagine, again, it sounds stupid when you're in the military side of it, but again, I can only base my experience off law enforcement side. But again, we have those resources, why not use them? But if you're gonna be in the field or you're gonna be out there really for a long period of time or it's extremely cold, I would definitely recommend at least having one really thick jacket that will keep you warm in those situations. Lastly here, I'm just gonna go over some of the base layers and layering systems that I use depending on the temperature. So as far as a base layer goes, if it's below 30 degrees, I am wearing these thinner thermals. These are by Thermajohn. I'll send a link in the description. They're just straight off Amazon. They're 92% polyester, 8% spandex. I've got a bunch of these. This is what I would wear on when I was in uniform and whatnot too, on patrol. Again, for any time it's under 30 degrees, it's kind of I've found that to be, you're not gonna be too warm or too cold with 30 degrees. So 30 degrees down to about 15 degrees, I'll wear these. Again, these are tops and bottom, but they're not super thick. They're nice, fuzzy polyester material, and that's what I'll wear for that. Anytime we're talking extreme weather, or if the call out is something where I know I'm going to be stationary for a long time, these are what I'd recommend. So these are the Under Armour 4.0s. They make different .0s. So they have like a 2.0, which is less warm, excuse me. And then they have the 4.0, which is what these are, which are the warmest. So they have like a little square matrix to them. I don't know if you can see that. But these are the 4.0s. They're very thick and they're extremely warm. The only thing I'll say is if you start sweating in these with these little matrix, you kind of get itchy. They, for whatever reason, they itch me a little bit after, or when you start warming up, they start getting a little itchy. But I've had these for years. I haven't found anything that works better or that's warmer than these. Short of fleece line stuff, this is my go-to for extreme weather. So I've got the tops, I've got the bottoms here, and I've got no complaints on these other than, again, I could probably use another, 4 to 6 inches on the bottom, but we all could, right? So again, I just run into stuff being a little short on me. Next, I'm probably gonna get flamed for this by all the guys who have Gucci gear. It's actually Condor. It's the quarter zip. So everyone asks me what this is. This is a Condor quarter zip shirt. This one I just happen to have embroidered with my logo. The reason why I like these, two things. One is it's a decent base layer. Again, it has kind of that square fleece dot matrix to it. But also because these are long enough, right? So these have the little hole to put your thumb in, which I would never do. I'm not skiing or anything like that. But because of that, they make them a little longer. And for whatever reason, the Condor, this is an XL, seem to fit me really well. So I do like these. They come in different colors, black and I think green, and then the Coyote. But a lot of the times I'll wear this either under, or usually I try to do it under. So I have the identifiers under my combat shirt. So this is a decent option for that. Again, they're relatively cheap being Condor. And I mean, realistically, besides supporting communist China, which I try to avoid, for the price, you can't beat these. So not everything has to be Gucci, just the outer layer so all your teammates see it and so you can flex on Instagram, right? And then next and lastly here, I've got a fleece version of the same thing. So again, this is going to be the Condor, I believe it's another quarter zip, and this one's the fleece lined one. I wear these quite a bit. This one's kind of getting worn out now. They have a little bit of like different material on the elbows. It doesn't really provide any protection. It's just more for looks, I guess. But again, another solid mid-layer option that will not break the bank. Hey, you can even embroider my logo on it. I don't care. I won't come after you with trademarks. But I hope that helped, guys. Essentially, with all that gear, try to layer it, test it out, make sure that you're layering it properly based on whatever your working environment is. Being upstate New York, summertime we can get to like 105 potentially, but usually not. Usually it's around like 100. Unless you're working like the air show on pavement, then it can get up there. As far as low temperatures, I would say I think we've had probably -30 before with wind chill. So something to take in consideration is if you're operating in those environments, make sure your clothing can span from the extreme to one to the extreme to the other, and then make sure you have the experience or the know-how to implement whatever gear you have now so that you're not either too hot or too cold, right? And take notes on it, right? Like it sounds silly, but take notes on, hey, I went to this call out, it was 40 degrees and I was wearing those Under Armour level 4 thermals and I was sweating my balls off. Hey, don't wear those next time, right? Maybe go to the thinner layer, try those out next time. Hey, it was 40 degrees, I wore the thinner layer, felt great, was able to do the call out, no problem. So little things like that, take back and let your teammates know, and more importantly, let the new guys know so they don't have to make the same progress that you did. Try to speed that up for them. So I hope this One Take Wednesday was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, again, hit me in the DMs on Instagram or comment below, and enjoy your day.